I guess it felt to me up there in the press box like your touchdown was kind of a big turning point, and I don't think you guys didn't trail after that point. I guess would you mind taking us through that play first and what you saw?
Yeah, man. It was kind of the look we was getting all week, So we just ran the play and it executed how it's supposed to, and I was just happy I was able to make that play and Dart was able to trust me.
You feel like the play calling's gotten a little bit more creative ever since you guys have had to go out there without Trey?
I mean, of course, it's gonna be a little tweaks here and there, but I feel like overall we kept like the same kind of personnels and plays and stuff like that, and just put different guys, at different spots to make those plays. We got a pretty deep receiver room, so I feel like a lot of the guys can take on that role now that Trey is out.
I guess to that point, the confidence level of y'all, of that room, especially what y'all done these past 2 weeks without Trey, knowing that he may be able to come back for that Florida game.
You said what?
Just the confidence level of y'all.
Oh, confidence level always through the roof. I feel like all our guys in this room, just always got that type of swagger with them. And everybody know that they can, any game it can be their game. So I feel like throughout the week we just keep on practicing and prepping the way we do, and practice is definitely going to build our confidence also. So as long as we continue to have good practices and stuff like that, I feel like everything will be good.
What was, for you as a player, what was that atmosphere like Saturday night?
It was amazing, man. They was with us the whole time. Even when we went down there, it still felt like we were still in the game. And just for the fans to come out there and storm. I've been in the storm field before, but nothing like that one. And like it was crazy. I actually seen the field goal come down, and it was just crazy, man. I couldn't move. It felt kind of scary at first, but they start showing a lot of love, man. I love our fans for that, man.
It seems like in the moment that things could have gone out of hand with a hurry when, Dart throws an interception third play of the game, they score in a short field, and then, Austin Simmons having to come in. But to see him respond the way that he did, just how awesome was that to see?
Man, that was amazing, man. He's a young guy, but he's so mature and he's just always ready. Like even when we're just chilling, hanging out, he just always got that confidence level with him, and he brings that to practice with him every week, every day, day in and out. So it was very, heartwarming and happy to see him go out there and execute like he did, man. He came in there with a lot of swagger and confidence, and he did what he was supposed to do.
Ask Lane what to credit this past month after that LSU loss, when it's quite possible that things could have gone off the rails, or players may have had their mental aspect affected, and he credited the players. I mean, from your perspective inside the locker room, what have you witnessed with the leaders this past month?
Man, it's just like, we know it was still something left on the table, and we know we all came here for a reason, So honestly, like going into this week didn't feel like, like anybody was pressured to do anything or anybody was like, antsy about anything. We felt like we had great weeks of preparation, after those losses, and we just went out there and winged it, man. We was like, we just gonna do what we do, play our ball. We don't care what logo we playing. We could have been playing anybody. I felt like we would have went out there and did what we were supposed to do. So I feel like it just falls back on our preparation.
Was something profound said at halftime of that Oklahoma game? I mean, you guys have been kind of a different team. Lane referenced it a little while ago. When looking back on it, was there some sort of, game-changing moment in that?
Yeah,
half?
we went in there and we knew what type of team we were, what type of team we are, and we wasn't playing to our standard at all, and we understood that, so we went out there and just made a few tweaks and just got back to playing our ball, I keep on saying it, but we just fall back on our preparation. I feel like the way we practice very well, so it's just, getting back in the flow of things and stuff like that. And it's football, man. Sometimes, things might not go as way, but if you fall back on your training, I feel like it'll definitely, help you overcome that bump. We knew we were a better team at halftime at that point, so we just went out there and just did what we were supposed to do.
For you on an open date like this, do you pay attention to other football? Do you look at teams above you in the rankings, or do you kind of get away from it?
Well, I look at, who we're playing, Florida. I go look at their film and stuff like that. I'm not trying to look too far ahead, I just want to be on my feet and just focus on, the next day, the next moment, inside the moment now. Probably get some recovery after this, but I'm not, really looking too far into the, rankings and stuff. Of course, we know what the end goal is, but we got to win next week. We won this game, but now it's on to Florida. We can't really focus on Georgia no more and look too far ahead. You'll forget about these little tricky games, these last two games coming up.
Just curious, you used to play in the SEC East, in some tough environments in that former division, and, you played in one of the more underrated ones yourself in South Carolina. Just curious, Yes, how high was the swamp on there as far as just being in a tougher environment?
I put Florida up there really high. You know, the way it's Florida, man. It's a historical field, you know, a historical place, you know, and a lot of legends came there. So it's like you definitely want to go in there and respect, you know, that field, of course, you know. But we're gonna go out there and just play our ball, man. You know, we're not really looking at anything crazy. Let the crowd try to be an impact on us. We just gonna go in there and just focus on what we gotta do. Thank you.